Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. But as always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. And we're going to keep this one real short. We're not even going to go into every single fight on every single card, because most of them realistically were inconsequential. There was a most valuable promotions card that was on Friday. Yeah, pretty much that. Amanda Serrano was in attendance promoting her new book. I think it was called with my sister, or battling with my sister, or my sister and me, or something like that. Basically, I guess it's sort of a little bit of a thing between sort of her and her sister Cindy Serrano, so congratulations for that. It's a children's book, bilingual as well. I'm not sure if it's written in two separate languages or if there's two languages within the book itself, but yeah, I hope that she does well with that. She said it's not even about money and proceeds on that one. She just wanted to express something for her and her sister, and hopefully it can inspire, you know, sort of little girls moving forward. So, you know, I always will rate that and respect that. So yeah, definitely hope that does well. And she did say, I think a part of that will go towards, I guess, communities maybe in Puerto Rico and stuff. So shout outs. Then there was the Queensbury card, which took place on Saturday, and I barely remember half the fights that are on there. The ones that I do remember off the top of my head, because there was a few that I didn't see. I was in the gym when the show actually started. I got home in time to start watching from the which fight was the one just before Atalma and Whack? Whatever that fight was, that's the one I got home. Oh, McCann Baluta. I think I got home just as that one was either starting or the fight just before that was ending. I saw the undercard. I did see Brandon Lee against Aracuna. Who is he? Is he Colombian? Yeah, I think he's a Colombian fighter. He looked like he was a 130 pounder, sort of moving up to 130. I mean to 140, maybe a 135. But he looked quite undersized from what I saw. But Brandon Lee, you know, he ultimately lived up to my low expectations and was pretty laboured. Yes, he won the fight, but when I put on to Twitter that was a bad investment for Queensbury, I stand by that, and I think everyone last night saw the same thing that I wrote about 2 months ago when it was first. And well, he was initially announced before then, but yeah, it was only when sort of him and Daniel Lugo came on in that little double press run thing is when I said, yeah, Lugo's money, but Lee is a bad investment. And I'm glad that everyone saw what I saw last night, and pretty much everyone's agreeing with me. Transitioning that into the Raven Chapman versus what's her name, Sarabia. What's that? Is it Johanna? I think it's Johanna Sarabia. I could be totally wrong on the first name, so apologies. But she calls herself the Matrix. Not sure why, because normally Matrix would usually mean that you move fluidly, or you've got good flexibility, or you're extremely quick. She was none of those things, but she was game and she was tough. Raven Chapman did pretty much win every round. She did take some unnecessary shots from time to time, but every time she did take one, she probably gave back two, especially to the body. Raven is a very, very credible body puncher. So it was good to see her get the ring rust out that she has been out for over 8 months out of the ring. But it was good to see her come back pretty dominant fashion, and there was a couple of times where it looked like she was very close to stopping Sarabia, but didn't quite get that last bit over the line. It's weird. She's got very good movement, very good getting in and out, but then there are times when the punches look crude, but they still manage to be effective. I don't know if it's almost like if you was to try and tidy up the work a bit, that would take something away from her, which is what she does best. So it's one of those weird ones where you would kind of say, no, crude is actually better for you and the way that you fight. But yeah, interesting to see what would happen with her. And obviously Sky Nicholson is the talk. She's now potentially thinking about going a different direction. picking up another title and then circling back to Sky maybe after Tiana Brown fight or whatever else happens there. So not quite sure what's gonna take place, but fair dues on that one. Moving into the main event, as I said, I didn't see any of, I think it was the first 3 or 4 fights on the card. I did see obviously McCann and Baluta. I predicted correctly. I did say that McCann would be able to sort of get this one back, do well, especially in the first half, and be able to always just kind of remain in front. I can't remember what the scorecards were. I think they were a little wider than maybe I was expecting them to be, but unanimous decision as I had predicted. I can't remember what I had said specifically with Atalma and Wack, but I'm pretty sure that in my predictions league I did put something akin to a stoppage, I think towards the middle to late rounds. I never expected Atalma to get a second round KO, but I did obviously predict for him to win the fight, which wouldn't have been that big of a surprise. On Bet365 he was a 1 to 100 favorite to win that fight. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest of odds, but it was, it was there just as a formality, and he shows the level that he can potentially aspire to. So I'm very keen to kind of see where he goes. Now the Garner and Sharp fight, what was it, Ryan Garner and Archie Sharp, I actually went, so I took the first part of that fight as an opportunity to go and shower. I was planning to go out after the main event. Didn't end up happening, but I needed to shower coming from the gym anyway. Didn't see the first few rounds, but it did look as if Garner was looking to just load up on pretty much every shot to take Archie Sharp's head off, whereas Archie Sharp was actually doing quite well with the counter punching. And it looked as if he was, sort of keeping himself in the contest at all times. And it looked like at certain points he was almost making Garner look a bit average and amateurish, but Garner kept up the pressure, kept up the consistency. There was a couple of head clashes, I think, that caused cuts, although I believe that one of them at least was deemed to have been caused by a punch. I think that's also the reason why Archie Sharp's team were electing to not make more complaints about the cuts to potentially get the fight stopped, because obviously if they'd have done that, then it would have gone it would have ended up being a technical knockout, as opposed to go to the scorecards and risk it on the technical decision. So they went and ended up going through the motions, going through the entire bout, and they ended up getting the victory. Ryan Garner, ended up getting the victory, unanimous decision at the end of it. So congratulations to him. Interesting to see where he kind of moves on after that. Now, main event, Derek Chisora versus Joe Joyce, or Joe Joyce versus Derek Chisora. You guys all saw basis picks. You guys all saw the tweet that I put out a couple of days ago. I said, I don't know what it is, but something's telling me that Derek Chisora is going to win this fight. And the fight, funny enough, played out exactly as I predicted it would on basis picks, whereby Chisora would kind of be ahead at the start, being able to, not only just loop the big overhand rights, but just being able to dip underneath Joe Joyce's shots and being able to, see them come in, ride them, sit on the ropes, be able to just duck, dodge and parry, and then come back with a big shot here or there that Joe Joyce just isn't able to deal with. And then it would just be about whether or not the judges give Chisora the consideration for landing the bigger, cleaner shots consistently, or whether Joe Joyce gets the consideration for actually keeping the pressure on and probably throwing the higher volume. But I went with the thought process being that Derek Chisora would be able to be in front at the start and just about manage to kind of stay in front. And I predicted he would get the victory via a split decision. I figured it would be a split because ultimately Joe Joyce is still the favourite, and there is still potential fights you can kind of put him in, and it just probably benefits them. Everyone knows that Derek Chisora is got 2 fights left at a push, whereas Joe Joyce, you might be able to sort of, as for lack of a better term, milk that cow a couple extra times before he decided to call it quits. So I thought, even though Chisora would win, it would probably be a split, and Joe Joyce would get consideration. But came in at £281. I said initially I thought that was an issue. I said from when they did the locked in, he just looked like he had aged about 4, 5, 6 years overnight. He, you know, not moving the same way as he was before. All the extra weight loss, I mean the weight gain I should say, yeah, everything just kind of pointed to a Derek Chisora victory, and that's what we got. So I called it right. The only thing I didn't call was the split, or he got it as a unanimous. I called it as a split, but you know, ultimately the right guy won the fight, and yeah, the prediction stuck. So I'm happy with that. And that prediction itself, I think it was a 10-3 on the in the bookies, whereas I think Joyce was a 2-9 favorite. So initially I thought, oh well, my money's in. Although for some reason, when I did this bet, normally after every fight they would give you a chance, you can like cash out, and it will give you a cash out amount. My one, the cash out was unavailable from the moment I did the bet to the moment it was over. So that happened, and I still had the Claressa Shields fight to go, and I said, look, I'm not staying up for this. So I went to bed. At the time when the Gordy Russ fight was on, and actually that was one of my bets as well. So I woke up literally at about 4:45 in the morning. So I turned on my TV, went on the DAZN app, and the match had just finished, and Clarissa was doing a in-ring talk. So at that point I was like, I didn't know what the score was or how she had won, but they was just talking about it, and all of a sudden she finished talking, and then they showed, that it was a second round TKO. So I sprung up like, oh, so my bet must have, I've only got one more fight to go, which is the fight taking place in Japan this morning, and I may have just won myself a nice little, what was it, £200 from a £3 bet. Can't really complain. I did predict Clarissa Shields to win this fight via knockout, and I thought that the reason she probably would give, and I don't know if she said this because I didn't hear the entire post fight, nor do I really care to, but it would probably be something along the lines of, you see, I've been draining myself down to these weights that, these weights ain't my natural weight. You see me at my natural size, I've got that punching power, so now the girl's gonna come see me up here, these knockouts are gonna start coming. I had a feeling there was gonna be that type of talk, but all in all, I just felt to myself that seeing what Amanda Serrano did to Stevie Morgan last week, and just being an accumulation thing, I thought, well, Clarissa Shields, she does throw punches in bunches, she does throw accumulations. I can see the girl getting overwhelmed and the referee jumping in. I didn't predict her to basically get 3 knockdowns in a row, but again, quality of competition matters, and I just knew that she was going to be levels above, probably of a girl that's never had to really defend herself properly, and that's basically what we got. There was a lot of cuffing shots and inside of the arm shots, but every time that she managed to get a decent knuckles in shot onto the opponent, the girl went down. I will say congratulations, and I'll probably had to make that the thumbnail today, because that's the first knockout she's got in 7 years, and that we're probably going to get a good 7 months of her talking about this knockout and this knockout power and how she is the GOAT and XYZ blah blah blah. When it comes to the accomplishments, look, 4 or 5 weight division champion depending on which sources you look at, heavyweight titles, light heavyweight vacant titles on the line as well. Yeah, if she's a 5-weight champ now, cool, that's brilliant, and all the respect in the world for that part of the accomplishment. But I do need to make it known that outside of that, yes, we can look on paper and say that she's accomplished a lot, but you have to factor in quality of opposition. She's had, I would give her maybe 5 out of the what is this, 15 fights she's had. I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give her 5 opponents that were top notch. 5 opponents that were of a decent level. Marie Decaire being one. I'll give her Nikki Adler as well. Obviously, I'll give her Christina Hammer. I know some people wouldn't, but I will. Obviously, Savannah Marshall, and to a lesser extent, I suppose, Franchon Cruz, although they both fought in a 4-rounder on their debuts, so it's not really that one. I don't really know if we can count that at the time, but I will give her Hannah Gabriels, because Hannah Gabriels was a 4-weight champion overall, I think, and did go on to do good things after. So the win itself aged well, although again, all of these people just naturally smaller, apart from Serrano, who was the only person you could say is probably considerably bigger than Clarissa at the time. But look, overall, yes, I get it. You can only beat who's put in front of you. It's not her fault that she's in these barren weight classes, but I also feel as if she would get a lot more credit and a lot more respect if she didn't go, you know, sort of come across trying to demand it. Most people kind of give you respect because you've earned it, whereas she kind of feels like she's just owed the respect before people even get to see the accomplishments. And sometimes it even feels like she wants to just, she's almost going to talk you into believing that the respect's there, but without you being able to do the due diligence on who she's fought or how many people are in the weight class. I mean, I'm pretty sure in that heavyweight division there is 20, I think it's something like 20 or between 20 and 23 registered participants globally in that division. I mean, you can't really claim to be the best when there's only 24 people like competing. And you already know that they're not 24 of the best people in the world. It's just 24 people that are actually registered. So look, yeah, 5 weights, 4 weights, like 3-time undisputed and all of that is amazing, yes, and I can never take that away from her, and I can't take away her actual boxing skills. I know that the skills are there. She's extremely skillful. I can never say anything bad about that, but the quality of competition does matter. So when everyone's on this whole growth talk and, you know, greatest woman of all time and she's the best and blah blah, well, there's an asterisk there, because you just unfortunately are not able to prove it against the people that can offer you that. I mean, unfortunately, to me, it's Katie Taylor, because I think that she's got more names on her record than both Amanda Serrano and Claressa Shields combined to give you that particular accolade. Obviously, yeah, she does have a blemish in terms of a loss, but you know, losses don't define your legacy, especially when you come back from them, or when you avenge them. So that's something that Clarissa may never have to do, because again, she's just leagues ahead of the people that are in her weight classes, but there's just not enough people there, unfortunately. But that tangent aside, going back to what I was gonna say, so I saw that she got the knockout. I looked at the bet slip. I was about to look at my bet slip and say, oh, I must have just won my money. And then all of the things came down and said, yeah, 2nd round knockout for her. And then I saw Michelle Rivera, but then I saw who was what's his name? I think it was, is it Grant, the deaf guy, who was facing Shohan Ergashev. I predicted for Ergashev to win. Obviously, Ergashev lost, so I said, oh, okay, the bet's gone. I look at the bet slip, and then I'd also seen that Gordy Ross had lost as well in his fight. And bear in mind, Gordy Ross was a 1-20 favourite, and Ergashev, I think, was a 1-7. So obviously, I knew the opponents, or I knew Ergashev's opponent. I didn't know Gordy Ross's opponent, I'll be real. But I figured, well, look, if you're 1-20, this is a layup. I'm going to just throw it in there. And Ergashev, I expected to basically do better than he did. And yeah, unfortunately, boom, that's what busted the accumulator on the phone, on the actual app. But it's fine, because the main two, which is the only two that mattered, are the two that I got right. Everyone predicted that Joyce would just, you know, bulldoze Derek Chisora. I saw things the other way. It's that Capricorn ingenuity, that energy. I find it very hard to bet against Capricorns, because you just kind of, you know, when they're in a fight, more time than not, they're gonna pull off some kind of madness, and that's ultimately what took place there. With Clarissa, I just knew, look, the level of opposition is so poor. If she didn't get the knockout, like, it's really, she can't, like, certain comments and stuff and noise that she makes, she'd almost have to shut up out of embarrassment. That's how I felt. That's literally how I felt about it. So yeah, and Calix, I know that you're there. I need you to run to the X, and as loudly as you told me that she can't do it, I need you to run that back. And I'm gonna clip this up, I'm gonna put it out on this on the YouTube for you to see, because I need that. I need that from you. You've never disappointed me before, so don't start now. But yeah, all jokes aside, look, it was a good performance for what it was. The 2 rounds was cool. I haven't seen the Jinjiro Shigeoka fight, but I thought that he, you know, would get the victory there, and it looks like he got knocked out. The minimum weight, very shocking. You know, I've seen his rise before, and he looked like basically the next one up out of Japan. Maybe it's just a setback. I haven't seen the fight. It could have just been against the run of play. He could have been getting dominated round after round. I'm gonna either have to check out the fight, or I might scoot over to Punch Perfect and check out Jamie Bourne, because I know he would have been watching. He can kind of give a comprehensive breakdown as to kind of what went on there. But look, that's pretty much everything that I kind of want to say in terms of these things. When it's the proper big fights, or the acid tests, 9 times out of 10 I do get them right, or I'll see things that other people don't see in them. But I feel good about kind of how that played out this weekend. But yeah, look, with that being said, I've got a few other things I need to sort out before deciding what I'm doing this evening. I've got 2 options. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to take. I've got a bit of washing and other stuff to finish off, but I needed to get this video out before I did so. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share if you are feeling. Leave your comments, let me know what you guys thought about the action. And I know I did a disservice to certain fights, but I just didn't have the energy nor the interest to watch them, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, I will leave it there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.